As retirement grew closer, Kathie Moore and her husband hoped to realize a dream of building an energy-efficient home in a rural setting. The challenges were many, but the rewards were great. This is their story of creating a little house in the prairie.
Okay, let's do it. When we lived in Hutch, we often took the kids camping on the weekend. On the way to Cheney Lake, I always marveled at the view across the Nenaskaw Valley. As we searched for a building site, several acres of pasture on the north ridge of that valley came on the market, the perfect spot for our retirement home. We'd found plans for a uniquely shaped cabin that could be converted to an earth-sheltered house. We enlarged the footprint, made the second bedroom into a library, and moved utility areas to the windowless back wall. Then we started on a 6-year adventure to realize our dream. The first order of business was to stake out the location for the house. During excavation, we discovered what the Geological Survey map labeled Red Jaw, about a foot of soil covering an outcropping of shale rock over hard red clay. A solid foundation, but a nightmare when it came to landscaping. With the footings and concrete retaining walls done came conventional wood framing. After years spent building some of the finest homes in Hutchinson, my husband Larry had worked with some of the best professionals in the trade, so we turned to them for plumbing, electrical, and brickwork. Progress was slow as we did our work on weekends and evenings. Because of the unusual configuration, with only the roof line and chimney visible from the road, curious neighbors often stopped by. The entry porch was another addition we made to the original plan. Here's an example of that brickwork I mentioned. The massive fireplace and hearth are the focal point in the great room with its vaulted ceiling. This is my favorite place for decorating during the holidays. And then on either side, we added storage closets. The open floor plan with combined living, dining, kitchen area was better suited to a low-maintenance flooring. Laying that tile was quite a challenge. A marriage that can survive crawling around on hands and knees to install nearly 1,000 square feet of tiles can survive almost anything. We added sidewalks and hauled in yards of dirt. The change in grade called for more retaining walls and steps. That pine on the far left was the live Christmas tree for an open house we held shortly before we moved in. The next day we set it on the ground and tossed dirt over the root ball. Amazingly, it not only survived, but has actually thrived over the years. Among the challenges we face, the wind blowing across the open prairie can be brutal. One summer it leveled a wooden storage building. Larry went to work to replace it with a cement block potting shed. And as a bonus, that created a new space to landscape. A neighbor's unattended fire on a windy day nearly destroyed everything we had worked for. Grass fires are truly the bane of rural living. Fortunately, the fire department came quickly, and the losses were mostly confined to some fences and some plants. Of course, time takes a toll, and maintenance is necessary. Recently, the ceilings throughout the house were given a facelift with a new coat of paint. Over a period of 25 years, we've had to replace a few things, including a weathered roof. Living out on the prairie, coyote and deer are frequent visitors, as are a variety of birds. A resident pair of quail will occasionally bring their brood up to the patio. Larry was raised an avid hunter, but now he prefers just to watch them at the bird bath or the feeder in the winter. For a time, we raised a few head of cattle and planted a small stand of alfalfa for feed. That venture ended when we retired and wanted to travel. But the experience gave me a deep appreciation of the commitment and the effort needed to keep livestock. There are a number of other critters that share the space with us. The small lizards and abundance of garden spiders helped to keep the insect population under control. One of our favorite visitors was the toad. He took over our dog's water bowl one especially hot summer. But he hasn't been the only problem. Following a record snowfall, we were literally snowed in for a while by 3 to 4 foot drifts. One of the world's best neighbors came to our rescue, clearing the long driveway leading to the paved road. We have learned generators can be a true friend in times of ice and snow. Even with the devastating drought of the last few years, that cost us several mature trees. The spring rains always bring the healing sight of fresh green vegetation. The separate structure visible in the background houses both the garage and my studio. I kiddingly tell people our marriage has survived nearly 50 years because we have plenty of space to keep away from each other. In truth, I can spend hours in my studio lost in painting. It's also handy for making quilts and filling scrapbooks with favorite photos. There is no denying that country living has its drawbacks, but looking out across that expansive horizon at some migrating swans on the pond, or strolling through the various garden areas added over the year, is absolutely priceless. And so are the memories of holiday gatherings, fishing with the grandchildren, of a Father's Day cookout, or transforming the house for a son's wedding. And yes, that is Judge Lyle officiating. A home provides us with shelter, a refuge from the storm, and if you're really lucky, a place that nurtures and inspires. I'm reminded of Willa Cather's words celebrating her Nebraska plains. Quote, "I wanted to walk straight on through the grass and over the edge of the world. Only the ground and sun and sky were left. Perhaps we feel like that when we die, dissolved into something complete and great."